Welcome to the next video. Today's video is all about variety. How to identify a team member, whether they're driven by variety, and how to refocus them to help improve this level of success within the team. Today's video, we're going to be covering off how to identify, connect, motivate, and inspire that team member, how to identify whether the balance in the store environment is out of balance and we need to bring some variety, fun, and adventure into the team, and then how to refocus for fulfillment. Now, if you remember back to the first video, we talked about the 6 core needs. We talked about certainty and variety as that seesaw balance. So I want to tap into the core details about variety so then you can identify those team members. So let's jump in. A team member who's driven by variety is very much focused on just going with the flow. They love the change that happens the day in, day out, the change in their role, the change in the environment. They love adventure, fun, and excitement, and they love freedom. They're usually the life of the party, usually very friendly, and usually get along with the team really well. They really want to enjoy themselves. They want to enjoy the journey. They want to enjoy their roles. So the fun and adventure excitement part is really important to them. They usually can be described as getting distracted easily or getting bored very easily. And they often are talked about in a way that we get focused on the shiny thing syndrome. So that means we get distracted really easily. They love new challenges. So it's about keeping things fun, fresh, and light. They hate routine and the mundane, and they get bored very easily. They love all the new things that happen. So they're the team members that are going to love all the new deliveries. They're going to be the ones that are going to jump in and unpack those really quickly. And they're going to love the excitement that that brings to the store. They love going with the flow. They hate it when their creativity gets stifled, and they often get stuck in changing just for the sake of change. Now, this happens because they get bored too easily, and it's quite easy for them to make the decision to make that change. And so the reasons why I wanted to tap into and talk to you about variety, those who are driven by variety today, is because in a retail environment, we can usually attract a lot of team members that are driven by variety because they love the chop and change of casual work. They love the change of environment. They love the meeting new people all day, every day. And so you normally would actually attract quite a lot of people who are driven by variety into that type of role. So it's really important that we know how to motivate and inspire them. So how do we do that? One, we need to be aware of their drive for that variety. So I would love for you to think about a team member. If you have a team member that is driven by variety, really have a think about what do they love to do? Where do they light up? Where do they feel inspired and motivated? It's usually when they're doing fun things, isn't it? It's usually when they're getting really creative. So this is when we want to involve them in those types of things in the environment. So we want to make sure that if we're creating new displays or we're creating a new promotion or we're setting something up that is exciting and new, we're getting them involved because that's the part of their job that they'll absolutely love. So if you want to inspire and motivate them, we want to make sure that we keep things fun, light, and exciting. Now, we can do that by changing things up, right? So we can do it by changing their role. It might be that, and it's not an overall role change, it could be that today we're focusing on this and tomorrow we're going to change it to something else. Or it could be that there's a normal routine that you follow and you change it up and do the last thing first. So it's a really great way just to keep them inspired and keep them focused and making them feel like they're getting that change in environment just by changing one thing in their role. And it could be something so simple as, instead of doing this today, I want you to do that today, right? So it's just something that constantly helps to change. It could be easily as well moving them to different stores, giving them options to change shifts, gives them options to choose when they would like to work, and giving them that freedom as well. Now, a lot of the time we can focus on things when variety gets out of control. So sometimes when you find that a team member is driven by variety, they can usually get quite bored by routine. They don't like to really focus on too much detail, and they really don't like it if things get too heavy. So what I mean by that, if there's too much pressure and we're too focused on the numbers, they can often then rebel in that situation. So what's really important is that we find that beautiful balance between this is the goal and this is the focus that we need to have, but we can have fun and excitement and adventure while we're doing it. And this is a great way to bring that in for the team, because if we want a team member to feel fulfilled, and this is really important if you remember back to the day at conference when we talked about the reasons why most people leave. When a team member becomes disengaged, it's usually because they've gotten bored, there's no creativity, they find that there's too much focus on the numbers, the routine, and they're just really bored and they want to make that change. And so someone who's driven by variety will make that change quite quickly. They'll make that decision to move quite quickly. So it's really important that we create that beautiful balance in the workspace so then they feel fulfilled and they're more likely to want to engage and create that change. So this is where we can involve them in creating beautiful team activities, where we can change things up. So it might be that we change where we do our team meetings, we might change locations, we might shift the way that we do things, and we might invite them to be a part of those decision-making activities or the creativity side of things with those team building activities. We want to bring the focus back. So when we start to notice that balance of the environment a little bit out of whack, we really want to bring the focus back to the goals, but we want to do it in a fun and exciting way. Otherwise, it's too much focus on the certainty, right? So someone who's driven by certainty can often find that they really don't understand someone who's driven by variety, because it's literally the yin and the yang. It's the opposites. So when someone is driven by variety, they love the routine, they love the rules, they love the focus of the fine detail, and the one with the variety, they just want to go with the flow. They don't even want to think about it. They just want to have some fun, right? So when we do that, we notice that, okay, if there's too much focus going on in the certainty element, we need to bring in the fun, adventure, and excitement. And so we do that by creating some form of change. And it doesn't have to be huge change. It can be small, minute changes that really help to just fulfill that need for variety without creating too much chaos or too much drama. So when the environment is out of balance with variety, so that means that if you're finding that things are too focused on variety, we want to bring in more certainty. But if there's too much focus on certainty, we want to bring in the variety. So what happens is, I want to just point out here that when variety is out of whack, it's when the focus is on there's too much chaos going on, there's too much change happening, there's so much drama going on. So it might be that they'll get bored and actually create drama within the team. They'll create drama with themselves and the manager, and you'll find that they will get distracted really easily, they will be unfocused, and they will just do things just without thinking things through. They won't look at the detail because they will find that boring, and people who are driven by certainty will get really frustrated by that, because it's like, this is what you need to do, so why don't you do it? But it's because they have a need for variety that's not being fulfilled. So allow yourself to bring in a little bit more fun, excitement, and adventure, fulfill that need, and then they'll actually want to be a part of those decisions. They'll want to actually drive towards making that success. They'll actually want to work towards those team targets. So how do we motivate and inspire someone who's driven by variety? The first key thing you need to do is break the goals down into smaller milestones. Now, remember how I talked about the fact that someone who's driven by variety gets distracted easily, they have that shiny thing syndrome. So if their goals are over a long period of time, they're going to lose focus. They're going to just get bored really quickly. So we want to make sure that you break those goals down really small, make sure we set across some milestones so then they can work towards those milestones and then have some type of fun, adventure, and excitement built into their reward. So it's really important that we do that and we align them with their goals. And we do that by bringing them back to when we achieve this goal, this is what you'll get out of it. And if we can attach that to some form of fun, adventure, or freedom, then they're going to actually want to achieve it, okay? So it might mean that you achieve this, you'll get to choose which day of the week you would like off. If you work towards this, you'll actually achieve this voucher that'll go towards some travel, or it'll go towards being able to purchase whatever it is that you like. Like, work out how you can actually build in the fun and adventure and excitement, and it might just be in the language that you use. So when you're actually communicating what the goal is, make sure that you marry those things up. So yes, this is the goal, this is what we want to achieve for the company, but imagine then what you can do with that. Imagine how the extra money that you're going to get from that, or the being able to purchase whatever it is that you choose. If you use the language that feeds into that need for variety, they're more likely to want to actually achieve it. So bring in that level of communication in there as well. We want to make sure that we bring in the fun, adventure, and enjoyment with the team, right? They're more likely to want to work towards it if everybody else is doing it as well. So someone who's driven by variety are very focused on enjoying their environment, and if the rest of the team are also enjoying themselves while working towards the goal, they're more likely to also stay on track with it as well. So bringing it together and making sure that you can remind them that this is about the whole team achieving the goal. It's not just an individual target. So this could look like competitions. It could look like games. It could look like simple little games that you put into play throughout the day. It could be change of environment, change of location for team meetings or get-togethers. It could be a change of routine. It could be a change of their role. Any of those types of things that involve some form of change that can be fun and exciting for them is a great way to keep someone inspired and motivated when they're driven by variety. So we think about it from that perspective, and we start to think about new ways that we can bring in that fun, adventure, and excitement. Imagine the impact and the energy that's going to have on the team. When we start to fulfill them on such a core level, they're more likely to want to work towards being a part of the team, work towards achieving the success and working towards the company goals. But they're also going to feel so much more fulfilled in their role that they will stay for longer, which is really important when it comes to someone who's driven by variety, because they're more likely to quit their job quite quickly. But they are the fun and adventure and the life of the party. So you want them to be there. They're the most friendly, they're the most personable people that are going to be so attracted to working with other people. So you want them around your customers. So it's really important that we build this into your strategy when it comes to working towards developing that team environment. And if you want to take this to the next level, get them involved as much as possible. Ask them, how can they have fun while they achieve this? How can they create more fun, adventure, and excitement within the team? Get them involved with that, and they're more likely to actually drive it for you. So if you're driven by certainty, sometimes we're so focused on the goals and the numbers and the detail that has to go, in play with everything that has to happen, that sometimes we can't get out of that headspace to think about how we can create that fun environment. So just ask them to get involved, and then more likely to want to actually drive it within the team as well. So I hope this video has helped you really understand someone who's driven by variety, and hope you can actually take these key things, implement them into the workspace, and start to enjoy the work day in, day out, and bring those team members together and help them work together harmoniously towards the success of the company. I wish you all the best, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, or send me an email at christine@christinecorcoran.com.au, and I will speak to you all really soon.